Hi guys, Murph here for another video, but this time something a little bit different, a bit of a departure from the usual setup videos, and this is more of an educational video of how to make a good race start. Now this isn't a video about getting the right clutch angles and getting to the bite point and the right throttle percentage and that sort of thing. This is more about what you do mentally to get a good start, and also how, depending on where you start, also depends on your game plan, depending on how well you know that and how much you trust the drivers as to how you approach the race starts. It's taken from 3 race starts I had recently, 2 iRacing ones which were from the Ferrari Challenge at Detroit Belle Isle, so the street circuit, tight confines, not much room to move, and the third one was from my recent Let's Play Live esports competition where we ran the Indy cars at Detroit, at COTA should I say. Anyway, we'll move on to the first race start. Now for this race start, I was starting 26th on the grid, or pretty much plumb last on a street circuit. Basically I decided at the start, no point trying to take any risks, no point trying to make anything happen. I'm starting 26th. If as soon as I try to make aggressive overtakes on the opening lap, I'm just going to end up in accidents or causing accidents. So instead I decided to just bide my time and see how the race unfolded ahead of me. So as you'll see, I'll make a pretty decent start off the line, but there's nothing to be gained really by it, so I just half throttle it just to give a bit of a gap to sum up where I'm going to go. Often there's the odd carnage this far back on a street circuit at turn 1, so I was lifting off just to give me a bit of room to hopefully avoid that. Nothing happens, so I get on the throttle, try to see if I can make something happen up here. They're going 3 wide, so I'll back out of it early. There's nothing to be gained, and then I'll look up and there's carnage everywhere, and just take my time, thread it through, avoid all the other cars, pop out and what I guess is about 17th or 18th. Now that the field is spread out, this is when I start to look to make things happen. So those first few corners, there was nothing to gain, because everyone was tightly packed and I was so far down. But now that the carnage has happened, I will start getting aggressive. I'll watch these two go side by side, try and sum up which way I'm going to go, hoping I might be able to get a run on one of them out of the corner. I decided to follow the guy on the inside and try and get the inside run on the guy on the outside, but I knew the wall was closing. I'll have a quick look up and mirror, see there's a gap, so I'll just worry about these two ahead of me. At first I thought the inside guy will get the position and I'll be able to follow him through, but he just doesn't get the power down really well. So I can't make anything happen up here. I look at my mirrors to make sure this guy dive bombing me doesn't take me out, which he doesn't. And there you go, I've got through the first lap by basically not being overly aggressive. As you'll see in a few seconds, I should pop up into around 16th, 17th, something like that. Any second now, 15th, so there you go. I've gained 11 spots by not trying to be aggressive. So yeah, that's what you do. Sometimes if you're starting dead last, just don't try and make things happen. Often you'll gain more by being patient. Now for the second race, same fixed setup, Ferraris at Belle Isle, but different starting position. This one I start mid-pack around 13th. So I'll take the attitude going in that I'll just put the car in the gaps where nobody is. Generally it's my tactic when I start mid-pack is just to essentially place the car where everyone else isn't and just see if something will eventuate for that. That has the 2 benefits. One, that obviously if I make a mistake I'm more less likely to take someone out, and if someone else misses their braking point they're less likely to hit me. So the lights go out and I will see the guy on the left of me. You can just see his wheel. He'll get off to a poor start. As soon as I can see that I'm clear of him, I'll move to the outside. 3, 2, 1, now I'll move to the outside to get away from this blue car, and you can see the inside road buckles up and I've gained I think 4 positions off the start. I'm up to P6. I'll try and get in the draft of Fabian here and he will defend, so I'll go to the outside. I'll brake as low as possible because there's no one near me. He will outbrake himself and pole into the other car, crashes on the fence, and there we go. P4 from 13th on the grid by just simply putting the car where nobody else is and just not being too aggressive. To be fair, the rest of this race and the rest of this lap, nothing really happens. I pretty much stay P4. I think one other person crashes and I end up getting P3 for the race. It's a pretty simple one, this one. Now for this third video and final one, it's a little bit different. This is going to kind of prove how if you can trust the people around you, you can actually be more aggressive on the start, although they can also be more aggressive on the start. The first two being open server iRacing races, and like any open server race in any game, there's a certain level where you just can't trust those around you not to do dumb shit. In this case, because I know all the guys, I've been racing with them for 6 weeks, some of them have been racing with them for several years, I can put a bit of trust in with them. I can trust that they're not going to just wind me off the track or spin me out or dive bomb me when the move's not on. So a couple of things to note with this. I had a bad qualifying. Unfortunately, it was only a quick 5-minute session and I got shuffled off the track in the final sector, which means the lap I was on doesn't count and also the next lap doesn't count. Long story, a bit of misunderstanding with another car. So I ended up starting 12th. I went into this race with a bit of a plan to I just said, be aggressive. I had to beat Matthew Ballpluck, the guy who started on pole. I had to do everything I can to try and beat him, so I knew I had to have the hell of a good start, which I do get. Now another thing to point out, I do use push the pass at the start. As soon as the wheel spin disappeared, I would hit push the pass, give me an extra 50-60 horsepower. Just to give me the extra boost to try and get a couple of guys around the outside. And then as you'll see, I basically planned on, because I was starting on the outside, I'd just send it into turn 1. As soon as I got clearance, I'd just try and send it around the outside and hope it sticks. So we'll jump to this race start. As you'll see in a few seconds when the lights go out, I get a hell of a jump. I wait till about, now I hit push the pass because the car grips up. I'll try and get around as many cars as possible. I thought about sending around the outside, but it wasn't going to work with Monkey Matt there. I get a touch, but I'm all good. Keep the car inside the track limits, and I'm up 6 spots. The push to pass is still helping me here because it allowed me to power past the other guys. So they all showed you with the right circuit and the guys you can trust, you can be very aggressive at the start, as long as you don't be too aggressive and take people out. Now for the next part, even though it's a train, if the aero wash, it makes it hard, but I'm trying to get as close to Monkey Mountain on the exit of this corner here, so I can get a run down the straight and get as close to him on the corner exit of this corner as I possibly can. Get the car turned in, he makes a slight mistake, I get the run off the corner, I hit the push to pass again just to make sure I boost past him, and job done. Anyway, I hope you guys have found that useful and helpful. These videos were just designed, if you're going to take anything out of it, having a game plan at the start is very useful. Thinking about where you're starting, what can be gained, about how aggressive you can be, will be very beneficial. Proof that, hey, if you're at the back, there was no point being ultra aggressive because you're just going to have nowhere to go. And if you try and be aggressive, you're just going to cause accidents. Versus being a bit cautious and let the accidents happen and suddenly you gain spots. Mid-pack, there's a strategy there. You can either be cautious like in the first video, or like in the video I was starting mid-pack, putting the car where other cars aren't, gives you a bit of a safety margin and sometimes can allow you to gain positions very quickly if people have bad starts or coming togethers, allows you to avoid them. And in the final one, showing how you can be ultra aggressive if you can trust the people around you, if you're on the right track, and if you know what you're doing and you aren't going to take people out while trying to be aggressive. Anyway, I hope you guys found that very useful and helpful. I'm hoping to do a few more of these educational videos, maybe things on how to avoid accidents, how to make overtakes, how to defend, things like that. Just a bit of Racecraft 101, that sort of thing. Anyway, if you did enjoy it, if you want to see more, please hit the old like and subscribe button. Very much appreciate it. And we'll catch you for the next one. Ciao.